As our faces and perspectives differ, so is the sound of our voices at the Atlantic Caribbean Union. I am Siobhan Sherman, and I am most delighted to be your host. Today, we have Miss Nadia Rodriguez, who will be speaking to us on college preparedness. Yes, for some, this may seem a little bit late, but for others, it is right on time.
Yes.
Nadia, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Are you able to please just give us a tidbit about yourself?
Well, like you said, my name is Nadia Rodriguez, and I am an assistant in the Special Services Department, practicing educational psychology at Bahamas Academy, and I'm also a Spanish teacher there.
Well, buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos noches.
Buenos dias.
Well, as I would have discussed earlier, we are speaking to college preparedness.
Yes.
And so I'm figuring that the Special Services Department lends itself to that at the Academy?
Yes, it does. College preparedness is just one aspect of a wide gamut of fields that we undertake there at the Bahamas Academy.
Okay, so let's just dig deep into it.
Sure.
For those who are watching, who may have children or who may be those looking to go into college, how soon should we prepare?
Well, college preparedness starts several years ahead of the day the child actually goes to college. You would be amazed because for us at the academy, it starts from grade 9. In grade 9, at the end of grade 9, yes, we give the students an assessment. It is a career inventory so that they can just get an idea of the strengths that they have or possible careers they may be interested in that they would have not considered before. You know, the students have in their minds what they want to do.
Right.
So this inventory, this assessment guides them along their strengths and what they would be best suited for. So that starts at grade 9. And then at grade 10 and 11, we have what are PSATs. Now, these are preliminary scholastic achievement tests.
I was going to ask, okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Yes,
telling
those
us.
are the same as SATs, which are scholastic achievement tests, but the
Okay.
pre-SATs are the preliminary ones for grade 10 and 11 students, so that they can more or less get a feeling of what an SAT would look like, which is the exam suited for most American colleges, that the scores they would need to go into to gain acceptance into American colleges. And for us at Bahamas Academy, our students are eligible to leave at grade 11. So it is very important that we get a jump start on this college preparedness, and that is why we start as early as grade 9. And of course, you know, college preparedness can also encompass financial obligations.
Yes,
So
yes.
these financial obligations that parents have start way ahead in advance sometimes,
Yes.
so that when the child is ready to go to college, the funds will be available for them as well. So there's a lot of things that happen when you think about college preparedness, and it does start way ahead in advance.
Okay, so there are those students, you spoke to planning. Now, planning, as you would have said, does not just begin
Oh no.
in grade 12.
No.
When we are ready to leave
Well,
school.
for some it does, and it's still not too late. We don't want to discourage anyone.
Okay.
If you started planning at grade 12, there are still options out there for you as well.
Okay, and now you spoke to PSATs and getting ready for SATs, but what about those of us that may not necessarily want to go off to the U.S.?
Oh.
Is there something in particular for those who may want to stay home?
Oh, sure.
Or go within the region, for instance?
Oh, definitely. Our premier institute, Northern Caribbean University, it accepts our BGCSEs here, which are equivalent to their CXCs there. And so our students that take our BGCSEs here,
Yes.
they are able to gain acceptance into Northern Caribbean University with those exams, and the same with University of the Bahamas. As a matter of fact, the University of the Bahamas also began what they called a summer bridging program, and this program allows students to take a 5 or 6 week intense training, and once they would have passed the core subjects in that program, they have direct entrance into the college without even knowing their BGCSE scores. So that option is there just in case the student might have felt, well, I didn't do what I thought I would have done. Let me just be extra prepared. So that option is available for them as well.
Right. So we have the Northern Caribbean University, which is in Jamaica.
Yes.
Okay, and then we have the University of the Bahamas, and then we have other colleges.
Other colleges.
Everywhere else in the world.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the Inter-American Division has several colleges.
Okay.
And we have about 3 in Mexico. That includes Montemorelos, and then That's in Nuevo Leon. That's a college that I attended. And then we also have Linda Vista. That is in Chiapas, Mexico. And then we have two colleges in Puerto Rico, the Antillians, and then the Herbert Fletcher Institute. We also have colleges in Venezuela, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Haiti. We have the Theological Seminary in Miami, Florida, and we have a school in Trinidad as well. But our premier institution is Northern Caribbean University in Jamaica.
Wonderful. So every young person, every younger person can all touch base within the union. Everyone within the union can go to any of these universities.
Yes, and there are possibilities. As you know, some of those universities are in Spanish-speaking countries, so it widens the possibilities there.
Right, wonderful. So in terms of, we have, I think, a wide list of universities taken care of. Now, in terms of financing, we spoke on parents planning ahead.
Yeah.
Not always.
No, that is not always the case.
Yes, let's be honest. And in some instances, no matter how prepared you are,
Things
still come up.
Yes.
And so sometimes we need assistance.
Yes.
So can you please enlighten us on some of the things or some of the places, opportunities that are afforded to your students?
Well, you have scholarships that are available for students, and the internet is a beautiful place. You have a lot of resources on the internet. They can start there. Also, if they know the school that they want to go to, they can go on that school's website to see the availabilities. What is available for me there? What international scholarships are available for my use? Or how can I attain them? And then you have foundations locally that offer scholarships as well. The Ministry of Education has a number of scholarships that are available and grants for students, and they can use them based on the career field. Some of them are granted based on the career that they're going to study. And then you have the newspaper, surprisingly. If you look in the newspaper during this time, you will see persons who are offering scholarships because they want students to come to their schools. So you can either you can also use the newspaper as a reference for scholarships as well. Besides that, schools offer financial aid. Right. Which is very helpful for students. Sometimes you have work-study programs where you work and a portion of your school fee is deducted instead of collecting a salary. Yes. So all of these options are available for students who are really wanting to be prepared financially for college.
Thank you so much. So when we are talking about colleges, many students believe that you must go out of town to get the best education. Now, I know I'm trying to focus in just a bit more because we basically within the Union have 3 countries represented but 4 territories. The North and Southern Bahamas, the Cayman Islands, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Yes.
Now, we want to focus in just a bit more on them because we want to help them find the best opportunities. So do you think that we have to leave to get the best education?
Well, traveling outside of your country per se, you may have to, but if we're talking about quality education, I'm always going to be an advocate for Seventh-day Adventist education. And we are part owners with the Atlantic Caribbean Union, and the Jamaican Union owns NCU. So our premier institution, university, is Northern Caribbean University. And therefore we do have a university, maybe not in the Bahamas, but we co-own that university, the Atlantic Caribbean, like I said, along with Jamaican Union. So we have a university that our students can attend.
So our students, while they may be traveling outside of town, they're not traveling outside of the Union.
No.
So we still can come right to the Union
Yes.
and get the best quality education.
Yes,
That's
we
what
can.
you're telling us.
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, as we take this short break, please do not change the channel. We will be right back with Mrs. Rodriguez as we seek to continue to help you prepare for college.
Jesus is listening when you pray. King Jesus is listening when you praise. Waiting to hear you, comfort and cheer you. King Jesus is listening when you pray. King Jesus is listening when you pray. King Jesus is listening when you praise. Waiting Jesus will be coming for me one day. King Jesus is listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening when you pray. If I hold my peace, my Jesus will be coming for me one day. King Jesus is listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening when you pray. Whoa, whoa, whoa. King Jesus is listening. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening when you pray. Whoa, whoa, whoa. King Jesus is listening. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Listening when you pray. He's got power in his hands and he's taking me away. King Jesus is listening. King Jesus is listening. King Jesus is listening. King Jesus is listening. My Jesus is listening. My Jesus is listening. He's listening. He's listening. King Jesus is listening when you
It has been the practice of the Seventh-day Adventist Church to believe in and to embrace what is known as religious liberty. By religious liberty, we believe that it is the fundamental right of a person to worship according to his or her conscience. And as such, as a church, we believe that it is our responsibility to fight religious oppression and to defend an individual's right to worship according to his or her conscience, notwithstanding that what he or she believes may not comport with our beliefs. Nevertheless, it is our responsibility to uphold that person's right.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is Voices. I am your host, Siobhan Sherman, and today's guest is Nadia Rodriguez, who is assisting us in learning more and being prepared for college. Nadia, before we took our break, you were letting us know about all of the exams that we had to take, how to be possibly financially prepared when planning for college. And now I just want to dig a bit deeper.
Yes.
You have Seventh-day Adventists that are attending non-Adventist high
Yes.
schools. Can you advise how exactly, how do you suggest that we treat, for example, SATs that are to be taken on the Sabbath?
Okay.
How do you assist? How do you help us in
Well,
that?
there's already a provision made for that. Our non-Adventist schools, if you have Adventists attending those schools, those students upon registration, and this is key, because Bahamas Academy is only a facilitator for the exam. We only administer the exam. Therefore, the registration process is up to the student, the candidate that is going to be sitting that examination. At registration, it is pertinent that the student chooses Bahamas Academy as a center to take the exam because of their religious beliefs. That option is made available for them. If they do that at registration, we will be able to facilitate them on usually a Sunday, because the SAT is an exam that is normally sat on the Sabbath. We will be able to accommodate them at the center on a Sunday, we will get notification from the SAT College Board. They will tell us that there are students registered to sit our exam in our center, and then we will open the center so that they can become available for them.
Now, you're speaking specifically to the South Bahamas Conference, and I'm certain.
North Bahamas as well. We've had candidates that registered from the North Bahamas Conference, and they have also sat the exam with us at Bahamas Academy.
Beautiful. Now we have, and I just want to put it out there as well, that the students within the Cayman Islands Conference as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands missions can also reach out if they don't have high schools there.
If they don't have centers,
If
yes.
they don't have centers there, they can reach out to their
It is
conferences
available.
and possibly get the same type of accommodation.
Yes, it is available because as long as we stick with the regulations of the College Board, we will always be granted permission to be a facility. Therefore, our students will have an opportunity to take the exam outside of the regular exam days.
Okay. So I just want to dig a bit deeper because we're talking about preparedness and all of that, even in taking the SATs, is speaking to preparedness.
Yes.
Now, what type of advice would you give to parents that they may be getting anxious right now because their child is leaving them? And what type of advice would you help them to be calm and to improve their skills, perhaps?
Well,
as parents, what type of encouragement can you possibly give to
the
them right
first
now?
thing is that anxiety is very normal. People do not look at students leaving home for college as a life-changing event. That goes under the life-changing event, similar to marriage or death, because it changes the component of the home. That means that an individual that was once living in the home is now going to be in another country, possibly. So this is a life-changing event. So parents need to understand that this is normal. The anxiety, the crying, all of that is normal. Don't think it's something weird. It's normal. And that is good because it allows the student to also get in touch with what they're leaving behind, their family. All of that strengthens the family bond. Besides that, it is very important that parents speak to their child or speak to the students about the grave responsibility that they're undertaking, leaving home, being on their own. It is very important that the child understands that they should always maintain a connection with home. They're not going to go out there and just forget that they were a part of a family and then the parents just forget about them. No. Especially if the parent is carrying the financial burden or the financial obligation of educating that child, they need to ensure that their money is being put to good use.
Right.
Therefore, they should be in consistent communication, if not with the child, only with the school as well. Some schools have an option where parents can actually sign up to receive notifications on where the child's grades are, if the child has missed classes, if the child is attending the necessary components, because there are other components beside academic components, cultural components, literary, artistic components that the child may have to accomplish as well during this time. So parents are able to sign up for these things. They should not leave it up to the child to tell them what's going on their own. Yes, you want that.
Right.
But just to ensure that everything will be successful. And this is only a measure because we cannot predict the future. But this is a measure to ensure that things will go successfully, that you be in tune with what your child is doing, although they are not there in your house. And we have the internet. You can speak to the child often as much as possible and take advantage of it now when they just left home, because once they find friends, once they become comfortable, the calls will be less, okay? So take advantage of it now while they're there so that you can speak to the child, know what's going on. Some parents are afforded the opportunity to travel with their child to the college that they're going to. Most colleges have what is called a move-in day, and that's when everyone comes, the parents come along, move in the child into the dorms, etc. Some schools do not have that, and some parents may not be able to afford to travel with their child. But once again, let the child take the camera, the phone, the computer, and scan the room.
Right.
So that the parent feels that they are involved in the process of moving that child to another country.
Now you're speaking to children, the teenagers who are just finishing high school. Is the same advice for those parents though that have children rather that are a bit older in age?
It's the same advice because, like I said before, it's a life-changing experience. You may not be able to go off to college. I was not allowed to go off to college right out of high school.
Okay.
My parents decided I would stay here first. But then you eventually go, and that support is still needed. No matter how old you are, that support from your family is always a welcoming, embracing, something you can embrace.
So we're trying to calm the nerves of the parents, the anxiety. You're giving them great advice.
Oh, and something I forgot.
Okay.
Pray with your child while they're there, and even if they're away, pray with them so that that spiritual continuity will be maintained. Pray with your child.
Now, we're praying, as parents, we're praying for our children. So what are the children supposed to do? Yes, we are excited, I'm sure, that we're finally leaving home. We're getting some exposure, we're traveling. But when it all sets in, the reality still is, my parents sent me to go to school. So what type of advice would you give to our students, be it they're teenagers or just a little older in age, young adults? How would you help them? What type of words of advice would you give them?
Well, the first thing that will come to my mind is that freedom is beautiful. It's wonderful if it's used in the right way. But as quickly as it is given, it can be taken away.
Right.
And that is by any means, whether it's by the law, whether it's by your parents. I won't advise students to go away from home to make poor, unwise decisions. Try to make decisions that will be beneficial for you. And that means, because going away from school means you're probably paying bills. If you're not living on dorm, you're paying your rent, you're paying light bill, maybe you will possibly get a car to drive. All of that entails big responsibility. So students need to understand that although you are free away from home, you should still be responsible. Any decision that is made or unwise choice that is made can follow you for a long time. Right now we're in the age where students post so many things online.
Yes.
Colleges are very serious about those things. If you make the college look bad or you represent the college poorly, they will ask you to leave. Also, colleges put students on probation. So if you're not making that grade point average, especially if you have a scholarship, you're going to be in danger of losing that scholarship and losing your acceptance at the college. So college comes with its freedom, yes, but it also comes with serious responsibility, and the students need to remember this.
So essentially, you're telling me that going to school, yes, I have some freedom. Yes, I'm going to get that degree. But at the same time, I have responsibilities.
Oh, yes, you have responsibilities because it's no longer high school, for example, where your teacher may look for you to turn in that late piece of work and give you another opportunity.
Right.
No way. In college, you either meet the deadline. You may have some lecturers that will be a little lenient, but you meet the deadline or you move on. They're not going to spoon feed you there.
Right.
They want you, they think you're coming there because you're a mature individual, and they want to instill knowledge into you, a higher degree of knowledge. So they anticipate a higher degree of maturity development. Right. And that's fair. So when you, that is what you have to be keep in mind. That is what you have to be mindful of, that you're not going to just go there to be free and sleep all day and come in late at night. And no, even for college students, some of the colleges have curfews that need to be maintained. So you are going to be free out of the watchful eyes of your parents, but there are still measures in place to help you to be successful in that career, in that journey that you're on.
But you're also speaking to being prepared as well as a young person.
Yeah.
Because then you have to learn how to do these things if you weren't doing it before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, most students usually have a curfew at home, usually. And when you get to college, like I said, you may be amazed, but I remember going to college feeling that same way, like, oh, I can stay out later now. And then I got there, and I think my curfew was 9 o'clock on weekdays and 10 o'clock on weekends. So that was actually less than what I was thinking it would be.
Yes.
So you have those things there that keep those measures that keep you on the right track, that try to keep you on the right track.
Okay. Nadia, I am so grateful that you came here. You gave us knowledge, insight on scholarships, on the premier institution, as you said, within the
Yes.
union, which is the Jamaican Union.
Yes.
And that would be the Northern
Caribbean
University
University.
in
Yes,
Mandeville,
ma'am.
Jamaica. And then you said that the best and quality education can be found at Adventist institutions.
Yes, always.
Okay, and then you told us about scholarships. You told our parents to don't be anxious.
Well, be anxious. It's normal.
Okay,
It's normal.
so it's quite fine
Yes.
to be. It's okay to be a little bit anxious.
A little bit anxious about those
And then
things.
you told our students to be comfortable, to be prepared, and that this is the real world, really, that they're stepping into.
Yeah, you must be able to put into practice all of those things that your parents would have taught you. Even if you're an older person going to college, you must be able to put into practice all of what you've been learning during these years, so that you can have a successful journey. Nobody wants to be faced with problems, issues, and they will come. Because no institution is going to be perfect. You may run into issues, but you want to know how to face those issues, and you want to do them in a way that it will not further hinder your success.
Right. And last but not least, you encourage them to pray.
Yes, definitely. Top priority. The student actually needs to pray so that the Lord can lead them into the career choice that they are going to have and into the school that He expects them to attend. Prayer is a continuous thread that will help them on this journey.
Yes. Thank you so much for those nuggets. And thank you so much for watching with us. This has been Voices, a program of the Atlantic Caribbean Union, which encompasses the Turks and Caicos Island Mission, the Cayman Islands Conference, the North Bahamas Conference, as well as the South Bahamas Conference. As we continue to work together to serve the Lord, let us go together and be prepared to minister to those in need. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.